want both parties to move from the fringes, from the extremes, back to the center?
I think a lot of people in this country may say yes, but it's important for us to dig into the substance of what that actually means. As someone who is often, I think, characterized as extreme, I, of course, would object to that. I do not believe that I am as extreme in the way that Marjorie Taylor Greene on the Republican side is extreme. The idea that there is an equating of believing in someone who believes in guaranteed universal health care in the United States with someone who believes that undocumented people should incur physical harm are somehow in the same level of extreme is something that I would object to.
In literally any other country in the world, AOC would be in the center of the political spectrum. This is ridiculous. What you just watched is AOC talking to Chris Wallace about being compared to extremists like Marjorie Taylor Greene. So we're now combating this false equivalency narrative yet again. So there's a big difference between people who spew violent fascist rhetoric and people who want to get progressive things done, like universal health care, raising the minimum wage. And let's keep in mind that these policies are very popular in the United States. Let's look at a few. So most people are in favor of allowing Medicare to lower drug prices. You can see the difference in the colors here is strongly favor in the dark blue, somewhat favor in the lighter blue, somewhat opposed in the teal, strongly opposed in the darker teal. This is extremely popular. Maternity leave. 82% of Americans want paid maternity leave, making it as popular in the United States as chocolate. The minimum wage, raising it to $15 an hour. A large majority of Democrats favor increasing the federal minimum wage, but for some reason, this isn't on every Democratic candidate's party platform when they are running for office. So these policies are not extreme. They're actually quite popular. Let's look at this tweet from Mehdi Hasan. One of the great failures of our media in this country is the regular both sidesing of far left and far right as some sort of matching counterparts. The far right cozies up to Nazis and incites political violence. The far left wants Medicare for all and a Green New Deal. But AOC is also facing criticism in another arena related to the midterm elections. So look at this headline. New York Democrat who lost his race criticizes AOC, saying she didn't campaign much and was nowhere to be found. Keep in mind, Sean Patrick Maloney said AOC didn't help the party enough, which is an allegation that she denies. So Maloney has been chair of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, and he stated, let's be clear, she had almost nothing to do with what turned out to be a historic defense of our majority. Didn't pay $1 of dues, didn't do anything for our frontline candidates except give them money when she didn't want it from her. She's an important voice in our politics, but when it comes to passing our agenda through Congress or standing on the ground on the political battlefield, she was nowhere to be found. So she replied with this tweet, let's make something crystal clear. SPM courted me for donations to swing races, and it was the first thing I did this term. Over $250,000 for the Dems this cycle. The DCCC facilitated some. Now he denies it. If he isn't aware of my visit to California and efforts we put in, that's on him. Rayyvana?
Yeah, Sean Patrick Maloney was the chair of the DCCC. This is a man who had all the resources available to him. He's the person who allocates resources for congressional runs. He had them all at his disposal and still lost his race. He bigfooted Mondaire Jones out of that district so he could run a losing campaign, and then has the nerve to turn on AOC, someone who he's willing to just lie about. And right after the elections, I made a joke that all progressive Democrats won re-election easily. And that's why we need to pivot to the center, an op-ed written by Rahm Emanuel. Because that's exactly what they're doing. I knew that was what they were gonna do. They do it every election. Just as Democrats successful, progressive Democrats successful. AOC won her district the moment that the polls were called. She did get out the vote efforts in her district, which is important to get the down ballot success in New York. Despite the fact that she was easily going to win her congressional race, she was campaigning for the down ballot votes from her district. And Sean Patrick Maloney is a bitter bitch, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yep, we've got progressives winning across the country and establishment Dems losing their seats.